like crazy fired up. Just dancing and jumping and just so fired up all the time. From the moment he moved in the temple, he was like that. So in a lecture one time, Srila Prabhupada said that if you're having trouble chanting, you're having, your mind is getting the best of you when you're chanting, then you chant louder. So Jaivataka, still Bhakta Jay, whenever his mind would start to tell him things, he would start chanting like, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, could you imagine if you're in a temple room that's probably half this size, and there's one guy in there who's chanting like that? You know, you're going like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He's going, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So everybody in the temple would leave the temple. Now back then, this is 1967, 68, we were not really supposed to chant outside of the temple room. All the devotees had to stay inside the temple room. So the devotees are freaking out, like, we can't chant with Jay, he's just too loud. And everybody would be like in the corner going like, I can't hear myself. So it just so happened that Srila Prabhupada was in the temple one time, and the leaders and a few of the senior devotees, which is like, they've been there for a week, maybe a month, they're senior, they go in and they say, Srila Prabhupada, you said that if your mind is disturbing you during japa to chant louder. Well, Bhakta Jay took you very literally, and he basically yells the mantra, and nobody else can chant in the temple room with him. What can we do? So Srila Prabhupada says, oh, don't worry, I'll take care of this. So he said, tell the Bhakta Jay to come in. So Jaivataka Maharaj comes in, pays his obeisances to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada says, so Bhakta Jay, I hear you like to chant your japa very enthusiastically. He said, yes, Srila Prabhupada, you said that if the mind is bothering us, we should chant very loud. So my mind is always bothering me, so I chant very, very loud. And Prabhupada said, this is very nice, this is very good, but I'm thinking maybe you should chant in the park and let the devotees who don't chant quite as loud as you chant in the temple room. Is that okay? And Jaivataka was, yes, Srila Prabhupada, whatever you say. So there was a park right next to the temple. And Jaivataka Maharaj would walk around the park, Hare Krishna, Hare, chanting as loud as he possibly can. And all the devotees were back in the temple room, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So everything ended happily ever after. So that was the advice that Srila Prabhupada had given about your mind is really not your friend, especially during japa. Especially during japa. Now, if we were actually all chanting perfectly, purely, we would see Krishna dancing on our tongue. Anybody has ever seen Krishna dancing on your tongue? Raise your hand. Nobody. So we're not chanting purely, or we would see Krishna dancing on our tongue. So how to get this purity? It's not easy, especially with a mind that's not your friend. It's not your friend. It's telling you all kinds of stuff in between the mantra, during the mantra, and at all times. The mind is feeding all kinds of useless thoughts and things you really don't need to be meditating on during your japa. During kirtan, anytime you're chanting, the mind is telling you different things. So how to control that? That is the challenge. It's a real challenge. Now, I'm going to ask some personal questions here. Are you guys working or going to school? Half and half or?
Half, most of them are working.
Working, right. So you're initiated in, who's initiated in working? You are. Do you chant 16 rounds a day?
Yes, sir.
Every day?
Yes, sir.
How do you do it? Do you do it all at once in the morning? Do you space your rounds out?
Most of the time I finish my rounds in the morning.
You do? That's awesome. Anybody else? Who else works and is initiated? How do you chant your rounds?
Most of the rounds I chant in morning.
Uh-huh.
3, 4 rounds in evening.
Right.
Sometimes.
You know that Prabhupada was a businessman prior to taking sannyas in Vanaprastha, right? Everybody knows that? Do you know how Prabhupada used to chant his rounds? Does anybody know that story? You must know the story. The Srila Prabhupada would chant 4 rounds before he ate breakfast. If he didn't chant his 4 rounds, he didn't eat breakfast. Then he would chant 4 rounds before lunch. If he didn't chant those 4 rounds, he didn't eat lunch. Then he would chant 4 rounds before dinner. So if he didn't chant 4 rounds, he wouldn't eat dinner. And then he would chant 4 rounds before he went to bed. So again, he stayed up till he finished his rounds. Now, with those sort of rules, you're almost guaranteed to get them done. Because you don't want to miss breakfast, you don't want to miss lunch, you don't want to miss dinner, and you certainly want to go to bed. So that was Prabhupada's secret to controlling his mind to make sure he got his 16 rounds done. Because when you're working, it is very difficult to do rounds. Does anybody find it really easy to chant their 16 rounds? I was a businessman. I found it really hard. I'll be honest with you. I missed a few days here and there because I got slack. I'm really tired. I need to go to sleep. I'll make it up tomorrow. Not such a good idea. So chanting those rounds is you need to have a program. Just like for most temple devotees, the program is you get up early and you chant all your rounds in the morning because that's what you do. When I first joined, that's what you did. You just got up and chanted. And basically, unless you were a really slow chanter, you could get them done by the time you started your service after breakfast. So how to do that? Okay, so that's the really important part, is to regulate your life. Even if it sounds super duper boring, you regulate your life. You say, I will do this, then this, then this, then this, then this, then this. And there's your day. You've regulated it. It doesn't give the mind any opportunity to sneak in and tell you things if you've got it under control. Right? So like, I go to Mangal Artik every day. It's for me, because I'm just a thrill seeker, a joy person. I just want to have fun. I find Mangal Artik really fun. Really? Yeah, I do. I find it actually enjoyable. I look forward to it. But the mind every day will say to me, sleep in. Come on, sleep in. We got excuses. You're old. You don't have to get up. You need more sleep. You should just stay in bed. I just go, forget about it. I'm getting up. I get up every day. I don't even listen to that mind. And after a while, my mind gave up. It just gave up. It doesn't even say that to me anymore. I'm waiting. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm waiting. Go ahead, try to talk. You're not even going to try to talk me into sleeping? Really? Was that easy? Well, it took a while, but I got him. He doesn't even bother me now. He just lets me get up. I'm like, this is great, thank you. You know, nothing worse than waking up and have to hassle with you. You know, tell me, go sleep, back to sleep. You don't need to get up. What are you racing for? It's going to still be there when you get up. No. The mind then gets under control. You don't give it opportunities. We know what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to say about beating the mind with a stick and a shoe. Like, don't give it any breaks. Don't even give it a chance to sneak in on you. It's difficult because the mind's been telling you to go here, do that, smell this, do that, all the time. The mind is always giving us these thoughts which are pulling us away from spiritual life. Because the mind is not our friend. But our goal is to make it our friend. Or just tell it to shut up. One or the other. So you have to control it. So if you're having trouble as a student or as a business person chanting your rounds, you have to figure out a program that works for you that gets it done. Okay? Because you're initiated disciples, you've taken a vow. Am I correct? You've all taken those vows, 4 regulated principles, 16 rounds, right? I'll tell you a story. When ISKCON started, there were no rules and regulations. There was nothing. It was just, come, listen to the Swami speak, and that's it. A little bit of kirtan inside the little room that they had, and that was it. And everybody would kind of go, then gradually people started staying a bit. But initially, no rules. Then, one time Prabhupada said, he said, we are going to have initiations. I will now take you as my disciple, and we'll have initiations. The first, and I just found this out from Achyutananda, Achyutananda. He was in the second initiation. I always thought he was in the first. But he said the first initiation, everybody who was in the room at the time when Prabhupada made this announcement took initiation, and they all left. Because nobody was serious. It was just, Because when Prabhupada first initiated, people were like, initiation, what's that mean? Oh, I heard you get like a name, another name. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And that's what it was. And then it was like, okay, that's not such a good plan because they all left. So the second initiation, this is where we had some serious devotees, or some are still practicing. Prabhupada said, there are rules you must follow. Now, we're still very, very, very new in this movement. So the people who are there, who are attracted to what Prabhupada is saying, they're coming from a hippie background. And hippie background means drugs, sex, free living, free thinking, no rules, no regulations. Now Prabhupada says there are rules and regulations. So immediately, all of these future disciples balked. Whoa, wait a minute. Rules and regulations? We've been fighting our whole teenage and young life to stop rules and regulations. But Prabhupada says, yes, in order to be my disciple, you must follow these rules. First rule, no gambling. And everybody was like, who gambles? I don't even have any money to gamble. Why would I gamble? Not a problem. I'll follow that rule. No problem. Okay. Then Prabhupada says, no eating of meat, fish, or eggs. Now, most of them were kind of cool, hippie-type people that were kind of veering towards that vegetarian lifestyle anyway. So they were like, okay, no eating meat, fish, or eggs. That's not such a big deal. That's not that bad. Let's follow that rule. We'll do that. We'll be disciples now. Good. We'll follow these two rules. Then Prabhupada says, no drugs. What's he mean, no drugs? You're talking about like heavy drugs, right? Like no heroin, no LSD. Prabhupada says, no smoking, no tea, no coffee. Everybody's like, what are you talking about? No tea, no smoking, not even, a little like that. I mean, we all do that. Prabhupada says, no intoxication at all. Now, a few in the room got up and left. That's like a big rule. I don't know if we can do this. We've been kind of living our life for these drugs, and intoxication is, it's where it's at. But this mantra thing, it's pretty cool. I like it. It kind of gets you high anyway, and it doesn't cost any money. You're not going to go to jail for it. Okay, yeah, all right. We'll follow these three rules. We'll be devotees. We'll be initiated devotees. Prabhupada says, and the fourth rule. There was, Fourth rule? The fourth rule is no illicit sex. We're out of here now. Like, what do you mean no? What does Swami mean by no illicit sex? What do you mean? Swamiji, what do you mean by no illicit sex? You're talking like no sex? Prabhupada says no. Illicit sex means no sex outside of marriage. Marriage? Who wants to get married? I don't want a wife. We've got girlfriends. What do we need a wife for? No, we can't do this one. Sorry, we can't do this one. Prabhupada says, these are the rules. I really like what Swamiji's saying. I love chanting Hare Krishna. I would really love to be his disciples. But 4 rules? No gambling, no eating meat. No intoxication. No illicit sex. That's tough. All right, okay, we'll do it. So they got initiated. Prabhupada said that's it. That's the rules. And one other thing you must do. You must chant 64 rounds a day. 64 rounds a day? Like they were doing 2 or 3. 64? Well, Prabhupada came from the Gaudiya Math. The Gaudiya Math chants 64 rounds a day. When Prabhupada told them 64 rounds a day, they're thinking, okay, that one round takes about 20 minutes. Second round, I'm almost done. Well, I'm done before 1 hour. 64 rounds, that's like the whole day. We're going to have to chant all day? Wait a minute, I still have to go to work. I've got to go feed my cat. I have to do this. I have to do that. There's no time for anything. We can't do it. Swamiji, we can't do it. 64 rounds is too much. And Prabhupada says, all right then. 32 rounds. 32 rounds, let's see. Okay, even if I do 10 minutes a round, that's 10, 6, 6, that's over 5 hours. 5 hours of chanting? We can't do it. Swamiji, we can't do it. Prabhupada says, all right then. 16 rounds, minimum. 16 rounds, 2.5 hours. All right, okay. 16 rounds it is. So here we have our 4 regulated principles and 16 rounds of chanting Hare Krishna. Lucky those devotees back then argued, or we'd all be chanting 64 rounds. Now try fitting 64 rounds in before breakfast, You're just not going to get them done. We'd all be struggling. Who's going to go to work and chant 64 rounds? Nobody. We'd all have to be sitting by the Ganges and just chanting all day. Well, actually, somebody did that. Haridas Thakur chanted 64 rounds, was it?
192.
How many?
192.
192 rounds. Think about that. 100. Imagine if somebody says, okay, I want you to chant 192 rounds a day. You'd be like, you got to be kidding me. No way ever you chant 192 rounds. But Haridas Thakur chanted 192 rounds every day to set an example, to show the taste that you get from it. Now, who was that king that didn't like Haridas so much that sent the prostitute to him? Yeah, sent a prostitute to distract Haridas. But Haridas said, okay, you're very beautiful. And I appreciate you coming to see me, and I will engage with you. Just let me finish my rounds. So she patiently waited while Haridas chanted and chanted and chanted and chanted. Day's over. Come back tomorrow, he says. No, there's no problem. I'm really happy you're here, and we will certainly get together. I just will have to chant some rounds tomorrow. So she comes, she waits, he's chanting and chanting and chanting and chanting. Nothing's happening for the prostitute, but Haridas is chanting 192 rounds a day. Now gradually she becomes attracted to this chanting. Well, of course, you're sitting with a devotee chanting 192 rounds a day. It's kind of like, what else are you going to do? You're listening to that mantra. She becomes purified. She becomes a devotee. One time in San Francisco, the devotees used to chant on the street. Basically, that's what we did back in the late 60s. We chanted on the street. No book distribution, just chanting on the street. Harinam Sankirtan was like 8 hours a day. So the devotees used to go to this one spot. It was the best spot for people crossing a different intersection. But it was outside this guy's store. He had like a fruit and veggie store with groceries. And he got really agitated because people were not coming into his store, he thought, because the devotees were out in front of it. So some people would avoid going near the devotees. So this guy got agitated, and he would call the cops. So the cops would come and say, okay, move on, boys, devotees, get out of here, move on. You've been standing here for a while, move on. So the devotees would go around the block, cop would leave, the devotees would come back and do it again. chant in front of this guy's shop. And they would do this every day. Same thing every day. They'd come, they'd chant, they get kicked out, they'd come back, they'd chant, they get kicked out, because it was the best spot, no doubt about it. One day, the storekeeper comes out with a tray full of cups of water to offer to the devotees. And they're like, uh-oh, is this poisoned or something? You drink one first. The guy said, no, it's okay. It's just water. I just thought you guys were hot and I'd give you some water. And they're looking like, I don't know. You call the cops on us every day. What's going on here? He says, let me tell you guys something. He says, I go home at night after a hard day working, you guys chanting outside my shop. I'm making my dinner singing Hare Krishna. I go to bed and I'm going, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. I can't get it out of my head. That's all I hear all day, all night. I'm even having dreams about Hare Krishna. I don't know. Something about me just changed. I started to like you guys. Now, he didn't become a devotee, but he actually used to invite the devotees to come chant there. He liked it. He would serve water to the people standing there watching him. He would serve water to the devotees. So this mantra is so powerful. It doesn't matter if you even think it is. It doesn't matter if you hate the mantra. You become purified by it. And that's the beauty of it. Sometimes there would be a program that they would arrange for Prabhupada, and hardly anybody would show up. And Prabhupada would say, oh, no, that's wonderful. And they, oh, I'm so sorry, Prabhupada, nobody showed up. And he would say, no, it's fine, it's wonderful. Didn't you see? You see what, Prabhupada? Well, Narada Muni was here. Brahma was here. Like, what, really? I mean, we can't see. I mean, who's here? Anybody? We don't know. We don't know if demigods are in the room listening. I don't know why they'd be listening to me, but hey, you never know. Maybe because he chanted so nicely. They were attracted. They come in. So you just don't know. When you're out there doing Harinam, there may not be a lot of people there, but there are so many living entities listening to this chanting. And they all get benefit. You get benefit. So even if you chant and nobody's there, living entities are getting benefited. If you chant and you chant the worst japa in the world, like this is my phone japa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh no, Hare Rama, Rama. Oh, a message, hold on. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. And we all do that once in a while, probably. I don't like anything to do with my phone because I know how obtrusive to my japa it can become. But even if you're chanting like that, you're chanting terrible. Your mind is elsewhere. Everything about your japa has nothing to do with Krishna. You're still getting benefit. But what if it's all about Krishna? Then look at the benefit you get for that. Then you get the real benefit. The real benefit of the mantra. We get the chance to see Krishna dancing on our tongue. And we want to head for that. So this japa is so very important. Now, Srila Prabhupada introduced this Hare Krishna movement to the world by going into a park and chanting outside so people would hear. Now, originally, when Prabhupada started this movement inside 26 2nd Avenue, a small little storefront, and the devotees would come in, they'd sit down in this room. It was not like a grand profession of, hey, I'm a Hare Krishna. No, you're just inside this little storefront, right? Nobody even knows you're there. You can go in, you can come out, not a big deal. One day, Srila Prabhupada says, we are going to go to Tompkins Square Park and chant. Gather up the mridanga, the cartels. They didn't actually have mridanga, they had bongos. Gather up our instruments. We're going to go to the park and chant. Now, all those young men and women that were inside this room are thinking, we're going outside with the Swami outside, like everybody will see us and they'll know that we're chanting Hare Krishna. People are going to think we're really weird. I mean, it's one thing inside of a little storefront, but out in a park with everybody watching us. And even devotees like Brahmananda, Satsarup, they didn't want to go out. They were scared that people would make fun of them. So it took a little convincing by Srila Prabhupada. No, this is what we do. This is the Yuga Dharma. This is the boon that we have of Kali Yuga, is chanting Hare Krishna outside for the whole world to get benefit from. So they did it. Now when they got to the park, they were all kind of like, not making eye contact with anybody. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Geez, I hope none of my neighbors are here. Hare Rama. Nobody's shaved up. Nobody's wearing dhotis, kurtas. They're still wearing their regular clothes. Oh, one guy was, Kirtananda. He had a beautiful sheet, dyed orange, wrapped around him all the way around. Big sheet. I don't know. If it was that when I joined, I probably wouldn't have joined. To be honest, I was like, I got to dress like that. Bad enough like this. So they're out in the park, and they're not making eye contact. But Prabhupada is just blissfully chanting, and he's playing bongos. Does anybody know what bongos are? You ever heard that word before? Bongos? It's an instrument like this, two little round heads, and it basically sounds like hitting the table. Like there's just no sound to it different. It's boom, 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 boom. Not like a mridanga. So Prabhupada, somebody donated it. So Prabhupada would play the bongos. Bum, 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 bum. Just banging on these little toys. Almost like a toy. And gradually, those devotees started to feel a little comfortable. It's like, well, Prabhupada's so into it. We're with Prabhupada. We love it when we chant inside the storefront with Prabhupada. Why shouldn't we be loving it out here? This is what we like doing. Why not be proud of it? So eventually, two of them stood up and started to dance. And they were just like feeling this ecstasy. We're outside. The whole world is seeing this. We're giving everybody Krishna. It's not just a secluded little group now. Everybody gets to see Krishna, hear Krishna, see the pure devotee. And people are becoming attracted. All around the park, people are starting to come. They're getting a big group. Prabhupada is totally oblivious to everything. He's just playing his bongos and chanting away. The devotees now, two of them are actually dancing, and they're getting into it. They're getting into it. And Prabhupada just keeps chanting and chanting. 1 hour, 2 hours, keeps chanting. And the devotees who stood up are thinking, I'm getting really tired. I need to sit down, but if I sit down, it won't look good for Swami, so I got to keep dancing. 2 hours they danced and danced and danced. Well, come on. Prabhupada's 70 years old, and he's playing the mridanga, or the bongos, and chanting. I mean, we're like 20. We shouldn't be getting tired. But Prabhupada's not getting the least bit tired. He's 70 and we're getting tired at 20. Well, we're not quite as pure as Prabhupada. So maybe that's what it is. So we just keep dancing. We force ourselves. And after 2 hours, they were like, who cares now? I'm just like numb. This is so much fun chanting. This is the first time they've ever done this in public. And now they go back to the storefront and people go back with them. They're so attracted to Prabhupada chanting. They're so attracted to the dancing. It's a wonderful, wonderful vibration and feeling, this chanting and dancing. And the holy name is being spread. So many people were singing along, not even understanding the mantra. And Prabhupada says it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't understand the meaning. It doesn't matter if you even know what you're doing. If you just chant. Just like you see children. They start chanting and dancing. They don't understand, this is the Maha Mantra. I should be chanting. I should be dancing. It's what Lord Chaitanya wants. They don't think that. They're just spontaneously chanting and dancing. So that's one of the benefits of being a child is you just spontaneously do it. Mahaprabhu, not a child, but he spontaneously did it. All his followers just spontaneously did it. So hopefully you guys get a little bit of spontaneity in your lives and you don't feel funny about chanting and dancing ever, and nor should you. Now I'll tell you, the first time I went out on Harinam, myself personally, I had nails, broken glass, golf balls thrown at me. I thought, okay, you risk your life, but this is what you do. And I was not attracted to ever do that again. Even though it was kind of ecstatic with the group I was with, but people were really scared of the mantra. They were scared to hear it, so they were throwing all kinds of things at us. I went out back in America. I wasn't in America for a very long time. I went back to America, and I went chanting at the University of Florida. They actually have a wonderful program called Krishna Lunch. They've been serving it for like 45 years there. Wonderful, wonderful. The whole university loves the Hare Krishnas. Well, I didn't know that. So I'm at this Harinam outside the University of Florida, and I'm walking around like this, waiting for someone to do something to me, throw something at me or hit me or something. And the devotees are like, Jeev, it's okay. They like us here. And I'm like, okay, really? They like us here? We're okay now? Everything's fine? Yeah. Oh, I can just chant. Wonderful. So I had a very blissful time chanting. So this mantra is so powerful, so powerful. There's just nothing compared to it. It's the great mantra, the Maha mantra. It's the whole reason for being enthusiastic about being a devotee. Because if you chant this mantra, if you follow these principles, Prabhupada is guaranteed you will go back to Godhead. Now, as a devotee in this movement, our movement is a preaching movement. It's a Sankirtan movement. It means we're always trying to get the congregation involved. And we should have these desires of, it doesn't matter what happens to me, I just want to help the fallen souls. That's wonderful. But Prabhupada said, no, you should be thinking about yourself. You should want to go back to Godhead. And if you have that as a goal, you work for it because it's a goal. You may get it, but at least you're trying to get it. I always use an example of a cricket player because I'm in India. I know cricket. If you step up to the crease and you think, I'm going to try to hit a 6, you may hit a 6, you may get a 4, or you may just get a 1 or 2 score. But if you walk up and say, I'm just going to hit a little thing in front of me, you're not going to get a 6. There's no way. So you shoot for the 6, maybe you get the 6, maybe you get the 4. If you shoot for back to Godhead, maybe you go back to Godhead, maybe you don't. But at least you're going to get further along than somebody who doesn't set themselves a goal of going back to Godhead. Because when we set goals, we actually can say, okay, here's where I want to go. How am I going to get there? Now, in business, you have a business plan, right? I want to make X amount of dollars. I want to, expand my business to this way. You actually make a plan, don't you? You don't just go, all right, I think I'll do this and see what happens. No, you make a plan. So how is your plan? Think about this. How are you going to make a plan to go back to Godhead? What do you need to do? But the first question, do you want to go back to Godhead? Does anybody here not really care if they go back to Godhead? It's like, well, whatever. It's okay. Heavenly Planet sounds pretty fun. Or are we actually really serious about this? Are you serious about going back to Godhead? Yeah? 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 Are you? You really want to go back to God? Really? You really do? No matter what? Even if I told you had to give up illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, meat eating, chant 16 rounds a day. If I lay those 5 heavy things on you, you have to give these things up and chant 16 rounds, and then you go back to Godhead. You're like, nah, ain't doing it. People do that. People walk away from this movement because they think that's too austere. Really? Are you kidding me? Prabhupada said, give this one life. One life. That's all. That's all you have to do. How many lives do you think you've had? Who can count them? Right? Innumerable. We have no clue how many times we've tried this thing. How many times we've just been satisfied living in the material world. But this time, a pure devotee has set a program out. He's laid it out in front of us. Through the mercy of Mahaprabhu, he's laid out a program that you can actually do. We can all do that. We can all follow these rules and regulations. We can all chant 16 rounds. And we can all go back to Godhead. I mean, what are our choices? The material world could be any kind of body. We're not guaranteed a human body next time. We could be a dog. We could be one of the dogs you see outside, or one of the monkeys that you see, or one of the cows. Oh, that's not a bad birth. Really? Are you kidding me? You want to risk being one of those other life forms? Or would you like to go back to Godhead, where it is eternally blissful, full of knowledge? It's just like can't even imagine how wonderful it would be. And all you have to do, now this is the sales pitch, for one lifetime and one lifetime only, you just give up all your material sense gratification and you can go back to Godhead. I mean, really, when you think about it, it's not like it's really that difficult. One lifetime, give up your sense gratification. Anybody here willing to do that? Really? So you're taking a vow right now? 4 regular principles, 16 rounds. It's so simple. It's really not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. It seems like it's so far-fetched because we know where we're at, what level we're at. There's a story when Prabhupada was giving a lecture one time. And he was describing going back to Godhead. And he said, you must be 100% pure. No material desires whatsoever. 100% you must give up all your material desires. And then you can go back to Godhead. And this is 1974. So all those devotees who have been a year, 2 years, like 5, maybe 8 at the absolute most, they're all looking like 100%. Like I'm probably like at 10 right now, or 5%. Now, who knows how low I am? I've got so many desires. And Prabhupada kept talking. He's looking out, and everybody's face, nobody was smiling like that. Nobody was laughing. It wasn't funny. They're all like... And so Prabhupada says, all right then. If you are simply 90% free of all material desires, you can go back to Godhead. Krishna will take you back with open arms. And Prabhupada looked out again, and everyone was still. 90%? I can't do it in this life. There's no way. It'll take millions of lifetimes. 90%? But Prabhupada kept speaking on. Then as he was getting up after the lecture, he's walking back to go to his room. He turns to all the devotees, says, okay, Krishna will accept you. Krishna will take you back. Krishna will welcome you if you are simply 80% pure and Krishna conscious. Devotees were just like 80%. That's like still an awful lot. So Prabhupada got back to his room, and one of his sannyasi disciples said, Srila Prabhupada, like 80% is like still, that's a big ask for us. I mean, we come from such a low birth. We're not pure devotees. We're not even devotees. We're just trying to be devotees. And Prabhupada says, all right then. You simply hold on to the back of my dhoti because I have a key to the back door. Did you get that? You simply hold on to Prabhupada's dhoti because he's going to sneak us in the back door. I mean, come on. That's got to give a Haribol or something. Come on. Now here's the key to this one for you guys. Like I'm holding Prabhupada's dhoti. You can hold it too. Or you can have Jai Pataka's dhoti. Because you know that he's holding on to Prabhupada's dhoti. Right? So we got like a dhoti train. We're all holding on to something. We're all holding on and we're going back. And we're going back through the back door. Hey, Haribo! I mean, that's wonderful. There's a way for us to get back, even if we don't really get it together. Prabhupada is so merciful. So merciful. He'll give us this opportunity if we just try to hold on to someone's dhoti who's heading in that right direction. Now, you guys are in a really good spot because you have a wonderful devotee here who you can hold on to his dhoti. Nitai Chandra Nimai Das, Brahmachari. So as soon as this class is over, 2, 4, 5. There's 12 of you here. If you all die for his dhoti, maybe everybody can grab hold and he'll drag you back. Because he's going to grab Jayapataka's dhoti. And we're all going to just go dragging our way back. And Prabhupada will be there at the door. Well, it took you long enough. And we get to go back to Godhead. So treat this whole process seriously. When you chant, take it serious. When you are spacing out, and you know what you're doing, when you're chanting and you're spacing out, don't go with it. Stop it. If you're starting to think, like, what did we have for lunch yesterday? Oh, yeah, that paneer. That sabji wasn't so good. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Wonder who won the cricket yesterday. Oh, yeah, that guy, I remember him. I went to school with that guy who's playing for, whatever it is that your mind is putting in there, it's going to put it in there. That's not the issue. Your mind will do that. Sorry. I hate to say you're going to get your mind under control. Don't worry. It's just me here. Just me, Mr. Spirit Soul. I'm not being bothered by any of my subtle senses. No, it doesn't happen like that. So your mind will feed stuff in, but it's your job to stop it. Don't let it run free. That's the difference. So when your mind says, how many rounds do I have left? I still got to chant. Oh, no, I got to do that. Oh, no. What time we're leaving? Stop. Tell it to stop. Say, mind, stop. Stop right now. We're going to chant. We're going to hear Krishna's names. We're going to meditate on Krishna. And stop it. Don't let your mind take you away from chanting nicely. It's so important. I can't tell you how important it is. And one of the wonderful things about getting up and chanting is your mind is still not quite firing on all cylinders early in the morning, right? When you first wake up, you're not going to be figuring out any physics problems. Ain't going to happen. Your mind is still kind of going, okay, where am I? What am I doing? So start chanting right away. That's like as soon as you wake up. I chant Prabhupada's pranam mantra, and then I just start chanting. And I try not to stop. I get in the temple, I do Mangalartik. I just keep it going. And that way the mind is kind of like, wait, hey, you're not giving me an opportunity to get in. Wait, come on, stop. It's saying stop to you, and you're not giving it an opportunity. Your mind is like waiting for you to take a break so it can, take a breath. Oh, damn, I didn't get it. All right, okay, I'll give up. And meanwhile, you won. And now you're chanting good japa. Mangalartik's over, and now you're chanting good japa. And you didn't really do a whole lot other than just pound your mind. You pounded it in submission. And you really have to do that. That's why when Bhaktisiddhanta says you wake up and you beat it. You got to beat it. You can't be nice about it. You can't be like buddies. Me and my mom, we get along great. We get a lot of things done during the day. Heck, I chanted 16 rounds and I figured out all kinds of my problems. I decided what I was having for lunch. I thought about what that guy was going to do with the other thing and the thing and the thing and the job and the thing and the thing and the thing. And I chanted 16 rounds. That's pretty cool. We're a good team. No, you're not. Not if you want to go back to Godhead. So let's keep the goal in mind. Very important. Now, I read one of the questions, like how do I stay enthusiastic? Yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes I'm not so enthusiastic. One time Srila Prabhupada was asked, how come no matter how hard I try, no matter how fired up I am, I fall into Maya. Why is this happening? And Prabhupada says, no, you don't fall into Maya. You are in Maya. Sometimes you fall into Krishna consciousness. There's a big difference. Like, I am just so Krishna conscious, you know. As soon as you think that, Maya's like, gotcha. Oh yeah, you're going down. You got to feel like you're just in so much Maya. When we hear about the songs of the acharyas, they're saying, I'm so fallen, I'm this. It's not make-believe. That's what they feel. And because they feel that, they actually are advanced. Because they really feel that. They really feel like they're fallen. The most fallen. You know, it almost makes me cringe when I think, how can somebody like Bhaktivinoda Thakur think he's fallen? He's so advanced. And what am I then? If he's thinking he's fallen, I don't think I'm so fallen. I think I'm pretty together, you know. I've been like chanting Hare Krishna for 45 years. I should be like, you know, glorified. No, Bhaktivinoda's saying, no, I am the most fallen. You know, Bhakti Siddhanta says that Prabhupada always diffused any kind of praise. Just take it away. It's not mine. It goes to my spiritual master. So this humility will keep us steady. It'll keep us in the game. And that's all we want to do. Stay in the game. Work as hard as you can in the game. Keep it together. Don't lose the plot. Don't let this lack of humility stop you. We're always going to work at being humble. It's hard. Because when you're brought into this world, in this particular body, you're glorified. From the moment you come out of your mother's womb, you're glorified. People stand there and go, oh, look at him. He's so cute. Look at him. Oh, you're so special. You're so special. And you're like, yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, I am, aren't I? I'm pretty cool, aren't I? Yeah, look, everybody's looking at me. The whole world thinks I'm wonderful. Maybe I am God. Oh, just got to grow up a little bit and it'll all happen for me. And you get into this illusion from the word go. You're in illusion. But that's what you wanted. You want this illusion. You want to be Krishna. You want to have everyone glorify you. Well, here you go. You're in a little baby body. You're doing all kinds of stuff that's not so nice. But somehow or other, everybody thinks I'm wonderful. And then you have to go to school. And you go to school. You do good in school. Everybody's glorifying you. Of course, they're glorifying the other guy too. Where'd he come from? How come he's in my world? He shouldn't be in my world. But they're getting glorified. That becomes a little harder. As you get older, it gets harder again. So then you don't associate with anyone. Then you can glorify yourself. Nobody's giving you any problems. It's just me. I am wonderful. I can do this. I can live happily ever after in this material world. Can you? Has anybody ever lived happily ever after in this material world? People who make a lot of money are killing themselves. How does that work? You know, one of the best stories Prabhupada ever did, Ambarish, who we all know Ambarish, Alfred Ford, great-grandson, William Ford, is it? Henry Ford, sorry. Henry Ford, great-grandson. And when he first got to see Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada knew who he was. Prabhupada says, oh, so you are the great-grandson of Henry Ford. And Ambarish said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, so where is he now? And Ambarish was like, whoa, yeah, really? Who even knows? He could be a bug somewhere, you know? All that money, all that intelligence, but where is he now? And Ambarish was so impressed that Prabhupada didn't glorify him, but tried to get him to understand, you're not that body. Whatever you got in this life, it's not going to be the same in the next life. So do something about it now. Try not to have a next material life. Get past it. Get over it. Get out of here. So that's our goal. Get out of here. We get out of here by following those regular principles. By chanting as many rounds as you feel you should. I'll put it to you that way. Initiated disciples, we don't have options. Minimum 16. Uninitiated, pick a number, a doable number, and do it. Whether it's 1 round, 2 rounds, 1 bead, but do it every single day. Okay? So all you guys that are just coming to Krishna consciousness, if you're not chanting 16 rounds, it's okay. You're going to aim for it. But while you're here in the beginning, you chant what you can. But do it regularly. Because that controls your mind, right? It's not like it's helter-skelter. Today I do 12, next day I'll do 5, next day I won't do any. That's when your mind's got you. It's all over the place. It's not a mood. It's not like it swings back and forth. You can do whatever you want with it. You must control your mind. And you control it. Prabhupada said us the parameter 16 rounds minimum gives you a fighting chance to control your mind. 16 rounds minimum. New people, chant, if you're not chanting at all, chant 1. But do it every day. Every day. Don't let yourself not do it. Every single day. If you're chanting 1, shoot for 2. If you're chanting 2, shoot for 4. Go like that. But keep it steady. And always try to get to a higher level. When you're comfortable with it, right? Isn't that a good idea? Yeah, just don't force it upon yourself. Because this Krishna consciousness, it will be blissful. It will be enjoyable. You will always want to stay in the process. You will always want to be with devotees. And you'll always get real nectar from it. Don't make it uncomfortable. Don't make it not fun. Because we like to do things that are fun, correct? Like if you're having fun eating, you'll eat. If you're eating something you don't like, you won't eat it. You just, that's okay. No thanks, I'm not hungry. Or if you're chanting and you're not enjoying it, and somebody says, let's go out on Harinam. You're like, no, my foot hurts. My back, it's my back, I can't do it. No, I got things to do in like 10 minutes, like not what you're asking me to do. That's what I have to do. So we want to make Krishna consciousness fun. Don't listen to your mind. Don't let your mind get the better of you. Your mind is going to put you down. It's going to bring you away. That's what Maya's choice is. And mind is working with Maya at this stage of your life. That's how it works. So we want to keep ourselves in the fire. Always wanting to be around devotees. Why around devotees? Why is that a good idea? Because it's safe. Like if you were sitting in this room by yourself, you might pull out your phone. You might start watching some Bollywood movie or a TV show or something like that. But when you're sitting amongst devotees, you're probably not going to do that. Yeah? You're probably not going to check out the cricket score or anything else. I don't know what we do here like that because I haven't done that for a while. But I don't know. But that's what you can get away with by yourself. That's why association's important. If you're hanging out with 12 guys who are all doing the same thing, chances are you're going to have a little fun doing it and you're going to do what they're doing. So like today at 4 o'clock, we will do Harinam together. Now that, to me, is something to look forward to because it will be fun. And I guarantee you, if you come to Harinam today, you will have fun. I guarantee it. Especially with you guys, because you guys are fun. So we will have fun. I guarantee it. So we'll conclude. That was wonderful. Thanks so much, Prabhu. And
any question? Because it was quite very interactive. It's fun. Yes. In prose language, the fun questions are always welcome. Okay, please go ahead. Class was supposed to say Shastra, but the essence of Shastra is actually given by Prabhu. It's a fun. Sriya Kairava Chandrika Vitaran. Fun. Yes, please, you can put some questions upon Shastra also if you are so willing. We have time. 8 minutes more. Okay.
I'm sorry about that. I just got off on a roll. But I mean, the Sri Krishna Sankirtan movement is it's a broad subject matter because everything we do is Sankirtan. Everything we do is Sankirtan. So it's nice to understand how we got to being able to even discuss it. And so if you understand how the movement even started, how it was a struggle, how it always kind of is a struggle, that is the Sri Krishna Sankirtan. It's not easy being a devotee. Now, here in Mayapur, it's easier, but it's not easy. in the West and in your cities when you're working with your business associates who don't care about Krishna, it's difficult. Here, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. So, but we tend to, in Mayapur especially, see us in a bubble almost. We see, devotees. We're all devotees. Everywhere you look, there's devotees. But you go outside Mayapur, and everywhere you look, there's no devotees. Where'd they all go? Why doesn't everybody do what we're doing? Come on, people wake up. But that's our job, as in Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, is to wake those people up. It's our job. How we do it depends on the situation, depends on the circumstance. Because you can't, like I say, you can't walk into a business environment and stand up on your desk and go, "Don't you people understand? You're supposed to be Krishna conscious." It doesn't work like that. You just, you'll be, "Okay, you're out the door, pal." That won't last. So you have to just meditate on Krishna giving you the intelligence and the opportunity of how and when you get your chance to preach. Because that's where the real nectar in life is preaching. It really is. Now, I've been distributing books. Now, this is my favorite. You can actually YouTube me and see me tell this story, but I'll tell it to you guys personally. When I first started distributing books, I couldn't understand why I was having so much fun. It was like too much fun. This is weird, It's supposed to be spiritual life. You always think spiritual life means austerities and kneeling down and being whipped or something. I don't know. But it just didn't make sense for me that I was having so much fun distributing books. And then a devotee told me, says, every time, actually Prabhupada said this one, somebody asked Prabhupada, "Why is it that I'm having so much fun?" And Prabhupada says, every time you distribute a book, Lord Chaitanya personally comes and embraces you. When I heard that, I was like, wow, that's why it's fun. I'm getting hugged by Mahaprabhu every time I distribute a book. So okay, I can do this, I wouldn't mind a few more hugs today. So I'll distribute the books. And then one other time, Prabhupada was asked, what happens if we try to distribute, but the person won't take the book? And Prabhupada says, every time you simply approach somebody with one of my books, and he went, "Cha-ching," like that. He says, you get credit in your spiritual bank account. Simply by the approach, you get credit. If they take the book, you get a hug. So I thought, you know what? I can live with this. I'm going to get credit. Here, have one of these things. No, you don't want it? I got some credit. Oh, here, have a book. You got it. Oh, you took it. All right. Thanks. I got hugged. So if you're ever in the book distribution arena, remember that. Every single person you approach, you're getting probably even that little noise. You went. So we're building up our spiritual credit by approaching people. Same idea with going out on Harinam. Okay, look, it's going to be a little bit sunny out, maybe a little hot. Good excuse not to go. You get a little sweaty. Oh, it's not so nice. But every time you chant that mantra in public, you're getting spiritual credit. And we want spiritual credit, right? The bigger bank account we have, the better we are. The bigger spiritual bank account you have, the best you are. I mean, that's what it's all about. So keep that mindset. Whenever you're doing these kind of activities, think about it. You're getting credit. You're getting credit. You're giving mercy. You're chanting. You're distributing books. You're giving the mercy, but you're also getting the mercy. So it works both ways, right? That's why it's so much fun. You're glorifying Krishna. You're glorifying the pure devotee. You're giving Krishna consciousness. You're giving the mantra. And that's why it's so enjoyable. Okay? We don't have to have questions.
So
it's okay.
we would like to thank Prabhuji for such a wonderful realizations, heart-touching realizations by chanting Hare Krishna mantra loudly.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Okay, since you did that, so am I still on camera? Cool. All right. Everybody stand up. Now, this is one of the ones I always use when I'm on a stage. This is fun. Okay. Now, when we chant loudly, Jare, I know that one. When we chant really loud, we attract all the living entities in this room, which are probably a lot of them here. We're going to attract all the living entities in this building, anybody who's outside the building, but I'm shooting for the temple, and if we're really loud, Navadweep. All right? Now I'm going to give you a real insightful trick that helps you chant louder than you've ever chanted before. Okay. Does everybody know who was in that pillar that came out? Right. Good. The Shringadeva. Now when he came out of that pillar, he went, roar. Did he? Like, roar. What did he do? No. Give me a roar. Give me a roar. Come on. Right. Like that was good. So he roared. And that's what we're going to do. Now we're going to meditate on Lord Nrsingadev coming out of the pillar and getting ready to take on Hiranyakashipu. Okay? Now, Nrsingadev comes out of the pillar. But today, Nrsingadev is in your feet. And he's going to come up your legs, up your chest, and out your mouth with a roar. But instead of roaring, we're going to say, Hare Krishna. But I want you to bend over and pay your obeisances to Nrsingadev, then slowly come up and then raise your hand and let Nrsingadev's roar in the form of Hare Krishna come out. Does everybody understand what I mean? Okay? Sounds silly? It is. That's the idea. So we start up here, and then we're going to go down and pay our obeisances. And then we're going to slowly come up and go, Hare Krishna! Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai! Nitai Gaura Premanande!
His Hg Jivanath Prabhu Holyname!
Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll see you at 4 o'clock.